Night football. It is the Denver Broncos with the number 8 overall quarterback in the league, Russell Wilson, versus the Kansas City Chiefs and the number 6 overall quarterback in the league. Let's get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It is the Dynasty Gambit. I am your host, Jay. You can find me at FantasyJ77 over there on Twitter. And as always, every Thursday night, my co-host, Vandygrad, Mr. Brian, Vandygrad92 over there on Twitter. Brian, I said this in the intro. We were kind of talking about this beforehand, and I threw this stat at you that Russell Wilson is QB8 on the season. And you were kind of thrown off by that.
Yeah, definitely somewhat surprising. I've had him in a dynasty league and a captain because I really didn't have any great quarterbacks. And last year he was bad, so everybody's got the stigma. He's still bad this year. I mean, yes, the defense sucks, but Russell Wilson himself has done a great job. And tonight he gets back his tight end, Greg Dulcich. So.
Yeah, and I also brought up, Patrick Mahomes, QB6. But this is how close these two guys are. Patrick Mahomes has just over 1,280 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You have Russell Wilson at QB8, has 1,210 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. There's definitely a variance in the wide receiving core of both of these teams. Don't get me wrong. But the stigma of Russell Wilson last year rolling over to this year is insane. And why I say that is Russell Wilson at QB8 is only rostered in 54% of sleeper leagues. Do you find that shocking?
I do. And what's most shocking, when we put out our waiver wire article on Tuesday morning, we could have actually, since he's less than 60% owned, could have put him in that article, which is even more amazing.
Yeah. Yep. And nobody would think that Russell Wilson was QB6 on the year. We're going to get into this game in a little bit. Brittany, I'll bring your question up here real quick, and we'll talk about this here in a little bit. But, Brian, is it Judy or DeMarcado? Is it DeMarcado?
DeMarcado is how I pronounce it.
Okay, DeMarcado. Brittany needs to put one of these two in the flex for you. Which one is it?
Well, first of all, Brittany, I go ahead and go Judy, but since he's playing on Thursday night, I'd put him in a wide receiver spot, not in the flex.
Absolutely. And it is Judy moving to the flex for me as well. Like I said, Russell Wilson, for all of the bad stuff that happened last year, has not been horrible this year. And when you look at Jerry Jeudy, I truly believe Jerry Jeudy is still one of the best route runners in the game. 17 of 24 for 208 on the year for him. The only thing he's missing out on is the touchdown to actually be, even better, of course. But he missed week 1, and he's still sitting there. He's getting, 6? He's averaging 6 targets a game is Jeudy. So Jeudy would be my answer there. The other reason I would not be playing DeMarcado is Williams is supposed to be back tonight, it sounds.
Now, DeMarcado plays for Arizona, correct?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But that being said, Keontae Ingram on the depth chart is considered to be the lead back. And he practiced on a limited basis today. And we'll go over all these injuries here in a little bit. So I would still go with Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy's had 3 consecutive games with at least 50 yards receiving. So, and like Gator said, he's getting 6 targets each game. So go the volume there. And I mean, DeMarcado may be okay, but don't fall in love with him yet.
Yeah, I was thinking of the other one that in Denver there, and that's what got me confused with the running back there, knowing that Williams is coming back. Even though he had a good game, you could probably see a 3-headed monster with P. Ryan, Williams, And then what's the other one that had a great game? They spelt his name McLaughlin or
McLaughlin.
yeah,
That's right.
McLaughlin. That's right. Okay. All right. All right, Brian. So let's talk Jaleel. There you go. Thank you, Brian Ford, in the chat there, sir. Say hey to a couple of these people in the chat. Jamie, what's up, man? How you doing? Appreciate you joining us. Our faithful co-host that comes on in the summertime, gives us a little bit of a break, and the originator of the Gambit, as far as I am concerned, Kyle Senra. And then, of course, like I just said, hello to Brian Ford out there in the chat. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us and every Thursday night doing this. All right, Brian, let's talk about how your week went. Well, how did it turn out for you?
Week 5 was actually my best week of the year. I feel like my teams. I'm one of those guys, and not to pat myself on my back, and not even to know whether it's a good thing or not. But typically speaking, my teams over the history of time, the first 3 or 4 weeks is kind of a fill out process, kind of like in boxing. And then starting about week 5, I start to roll. So I was 7-2 this week. Got a win in my league of record. Starting to feel like I've got the players on my team. I don't need to go drastic in regards to waiver wire moves. It's kind of nice. I've got a nice team to start this weekend. So now I'm making moves to prepare for a future bye week. So just keep those in mind.
Yes. Yeah. And now that the bye weeks are with us, there's only 2 on bye this week, but next week we have a big one. There's 6 teams on bye this week, or next week rather. This week you have Green Bay and Pittsburgh that are sitting on the bye week. So make sure those are out of your lineup. And like Brian said, when we were talking to Brittany a second ago, if you are playing players tonight, get them out of the flex spots, put them in their positional group so that you have that flex for Sunday if any news comes out between now and game time on Sundays or even on Monday.
And not to interrupt, think of it this way. DeMarcado, if something happens to one of your other players and you have the opportunity for the flex to be open, you still could insert him in your lineup at a later date.
Absolutely.
Now and Sunday.
Yep, that's very, very, very true. Yeah, my week 5 was not as productive as yours, in the sense of W's on the field. However, it was pretty productive. When week 5 got over, I was able to make a few trades. Teams, of course, I'm in like 30-something teams or 30-something leagues, but there was a few of them that I was 1-4 or even a 0-5. I had 2 0-5 teams, to be, crazy as it sounds. I know I shouldn't. Injuries. I got bit by the injury bug really quick this year, but I was actually able to trade away a couple of aging wide receivers, Cooper Kupp being one of them, and gaining a pile of draft capital over the next 2 years. So I'm not as sad as I was Monday or Tuesday afternoon going into waiver wire Wednesday. Waiver got over, and Thursday morning comes, or I'm sorry, Wednesday morning comes, and I start making trades, and I'm able to get my spirits back up, I should say.
Kupp seems like the perfect sell high candidate. He'll continue to do well, but to come back off of a 4-week, 5-week layoff, and then 4-week layoff, and then come back, I mean, that's pretty awesome time to sell him, I would think. So
yeah, Kyle, I feel it, buddy. I feel it. He says he has a couple of 0-5 teams as well. Shout out to Hamid and Doc, the true original duo of the Gambit. Yes. Big shout out to both of them. All right, let's get into it. It is week 5. Week 6. Week 5 is in the rear view. We are moving on, and it starts tonight. Week 6, Denver heading into Kansas City. When I built the show sheet, Kansas City was favored by 11. That has now moved down. Is it at 10.5 or is it at 10 now?
I haven't seen the latest, but
I think it's at 10. So it's moved a full point down with an over-under of 47.
The only thing I can think of that may have moved the line a little bit, the only news I can think of is Dulcich playing, but that seems like a lot. So I don't know.
Yeah, and it did it in roughly the last 7 hours or so.
Yeah, because it got announced that he was playing about 2:30, 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay. Okay. All right. But before we get into that game, we've got some news that came out over this week. I do want to touch on it. There was a blockbuster of a trade that happened this week, Brian. Tell us about this trade.
Oh my goodness. Van Jefferson being traded from the Rams to the Atlanta Falcons for a 6th and 7th round draft pick in 2025. Oh my goodness.
Bye, Drake London. I mean, see you later. Adios, amigos. I mean, what? They're built. Wait. Are you telling me Atlanta is going after wide receivers?
Well, exactly. My whole philosophy is they haven't been able to support Kyle Pitts for 3 years running now, and Drake London for 2, but yet we'll go out and get another wide receiver. My question is, and I don't really know, I don't know how a wide receiver is great in regards to blocking, but I wonder if he's a heck of a blocker for both Bijan and Algier. I don't know.
Oh, so you're thinking they're going to place Van Jefferson in line and let Pitts sit on the bench? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify what you said there. Brian, we've also got some players that are coming back from injury. Jonathan Taylor being one of them. They're expecting him to ramp up. He was back last week, but they're expecting him to ramp up a little bit more, especially now with Richardson going down. What do you expect out of Jonathan Taylor?
He'll be fine. I don't think that Zach Moss deserves to be completely usurped from his role. I mean, you get 150 plus yards rushing, you deserve a role. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking Taylor's going to be. He's not what he was 2 years ago, but I think he'll be fine as I'll say a top 15 redraft back, top 15 to top 20. I don't expect an RB1 out of him this year.
One more I quickly want to bring up because I want to, can we say goodbye to Josh Kelly now? Is Josh Kelly's season complete and over? Is it done? Guess who's coming back? Superman himself.
Austin Eckler, yep. Well, I'll be honest with you. Although some of us had to, I never really embraced Kelly anyway. So, yeah, he's okay to say goodbye to. And, heck, I don't know. Maybe they go and give Spiller a little bit more playing time down the stretch. But Jonathan Kelly should have never said hello in the first place.
you mean Joshua Kelly? Joshua Kelly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. What else you got on the injury report or the injury bug that hit everybody in fantasy this week? What happened?
Well, I think I want to start really with the players that are coming back. I'm really excited. You named 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that said he is ready to go. He was asked specifically, "Are you ready to go, Deontay?" And I've only got one jersey of a current player, and it's Deontay Johnson. His answer, not to excuse my French, was hell yeah. So
don't worry, Jeff doesn't care about certain words.
So yeah, it's he's ready. He says hell yeah, and as a Steelers fan, I say hell yeah too. So
yeah, I kind of feel like he was one that didn't, personally, he did not want to go on the IR or be sat. He wanted to just play.
That's all he's ever wanted to do. And like I said, he's my favorite current player, and I'm excited. The Steelers' offense has been, it's not been good, but they're 3-2. And in all fairness, when you play the likes of the 49ers, the Browns, the Ravens, you're playing some pretty tough defenses. So I wouldn't give up on my Steelers players, to be honest with you. I've got players in my leagues that are getting rid of them. Both Freiermuth and Najee are actually on waivers right now. So I don't know. I don't agree with that. So.
Well, you can't let that fandom heart of yours, go out there too hard and too fast, can you?
Well, no, but I mean at the same time, we're going into bye weeks, and if you've got a solid group of starters already on your roster, which I do, these guys are fine for bye week replacements. I'm not telling you that they're going to be RB1s and tight end ones, but they can certainly make fine bye week replacements. So
That's fair. That's fair. All right, what else you got?
well, there's actually either 3 or 4 players that landed on short, 4 players that landed on short-term IR, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of a heavy week to me. Justin Jefferson leads off the top. Uh, they've said with him, he is not with the Vikings. I believe they're 1-4 right now. They've said with him, he's not guaranteed to come back in 4 weeks. And short-term IR means you have to sit out for 4 weeks. But he's said, unless he's 100%, he's not coming back at all.
Yeah,
So
I believe there was a report, and I don't remember who put it out, so I can't give them credit directly, but I want to say it was either Rap Sheet or hell, I thought it was Rap Sheet, but it may have been somebody else. I try to get them credit if I can figure out where it was, but it sounded like there was a possibility that Jefferson could be out up to 8 weeks.
wow, yeah, like I said, I know on NBC Sports Edge it was listed that hey, there's no guarantee he's coming back after 4 weeks. And, theoretically, let's just say, I don't think they've got a bye week in those 4 weeks. Let's just say they're 1-8. Would there be any reason for him to come back?
No, I mean the week 8 would be their bye week, which is, or I'm sorry, an 8 week uh IR stint would be week 13 or week 14 coming back, and week 13 is their bye week. The toughest part for us as fantasy players is that's the start of the playoffs.
Exactly. And I mean, you can hold him if you wanted to, if you've got the roster space. But the worst thing is, with limited roster spots in some of our leagues and bye weeks coming up, it becomes harder and harder to fill. Now, keep in mind, there are some injury reserve spots in certain leagues, so you might be able to stash him there.
So is it KJ Osborne or Jordan Addison, or have they brought somebody up from the practice squad this past week?
Harry.
Yeah, N'Keal Harry, that's right. I mean, I don't think it's N'Keal Harry that you're going out there and starting in place of Jefferson, but can you even trust Addison to be Justin Jefferson like?
Exceedingly light, maybe, yes. I mean, Jordan Addison's a rookie and he'll do fine. They say that the typical position that Jefferson plays, Osborne will come in primarily for, but I would prefer Addison as my wide receiver 1 out of those two. And you're not going to see, top 12, top 15 production. You can probably get top 24 production out of Addison, but that's about it.
Kyle here just beating you up, saying so many people think like Brian because he has been scooping up Kelly off of waivers this week after so many have dropped him, and Brandon Powell as well. But and I don't disagree with picking him up if it's a deeper league. It's just my issue is week 1 they Eckler and Kelly both had 16 attempts and and both of them had great weeks.
Yep.
But when Eckler went down, Kelly still had attempts and just it wasn't there. It wasn't there at all, and we expected it. But yeah, Brandon Powell. Yeah, that I knew what you meant, Kyle. I knew exactly what you meant. But the if you're not, and that's something with the Chargers offense is when Eckler is on the field, they pass way less, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Even though he is a great receiving back, but it's almost if they don't have Eckler, then they feel like they have to pass almost every single play. It's like they're the worst. They pass the most when Eckler is not on the field, and they pass the least overall in the NFL ranking wise. They pass the least when Eckler is on the field. So huge difference right there. Who's your next guy?
Next guy that's kind of a big name is Devon
Achane.
I've always said A-Chain, but I think he's come out saying he wants to pronounce it otherwise. But yeah, he's also on short-term IR now, and the name to look at in that concept is Jeff Wilson. He's been out for 4 weeks. He was on short-term IR himself. He's been designated to be available from IR, and I think based on what the offensive coordinator said today, he's ready to go. So they'll probably activate him prior to the game on Sunday, and he'll take over the Achan role. So
real quick, I'm seeing this in the chat, Jamie. I need this to be confirmed because I saw where the Colts have reached out to the Broncos, but I didn't see anything confirmed that Judy got traded. Did you? Or is it okay? I see what he's saying here. With Judy being being in a trade talk, do you think the Broncos limit him or even not play him to prevent injury? And answer to me for me is no. You're not sitting, and I don't think I don't think Judy would allow them to sit him either.
yeah, and in all fairness, I try my go-to source that I really love reading every day, and where I get most of my news is from NBC Sports Edge, and I've not seen that rumor, but it certainly could be out there.
Yeah, I have seen I have seen the rumor that there have actually been a couple teams that have reached out about Jerry Judy's availability. And I don't see it happening. I mean, I don't. I think the Broncos would be stupid. Wait a minute. That's almost like an oxymoron to say that out loud, isn't it? All right. Move.
Isn't the trade deadline October 31st?
It is. It is Halloween. It is Halloween this year.
So we're still, what,
3 weeks?
Away?
Yeah, 3 weeks or so, yeah.
Yeah, so, no, not tonight. He won't sit.
Yeah. All right, who's next on the list? You've got Justin Jefferson and Devon Achane. Well, let me ask about Devon Achane right quick. Raheem Mostert, and we saw this when, of course, they played Denver. Both have great days. That was like Devon's, come out party. Is it back to Mostert, or is there more?
There's always going to be a committee of some sort in Miami. And last year, surprisingly, Wilson led the committee over Mostert. I don't see that happening, but I don't think it's an automatic 20 touches for Mostert or anything like that. They'll split carries.
Salvon Ahmed.
Yeah, Salvon Ahmed. I don't know. I don't think he'll get much. He might get 4 or 5 carries. If Wilson's ready to take over a good chunk of the role, it's him. And I'm going to be honest, being fair, I looked up at Achan's stats from college, and he averaged less than 13 carries per game. So I have some concern if he's ever going to. He's awesome. But I have some concern if he's ever going to be able to take like a hero role in regards to a Derrick Henry. I don't see that for him. I think he's going to be more of a guy that I would limit his carries to 15 or less. And they tried to get him more carries, and I think he's awesome, but I just wonder about his stability. The more carries he gets, the more wear and tear. He's 5'8", 183 pounds, so he's not huge. So
who's next on your list?
The next one we got is James Conner. He's going to be out on short-term IR as well. And what was the young lady's name? That
Brittany
question.
Brittany at the very beginning.
Correct. So
yeah,
this is the one that we were talking about. Keontae Ingram and what was the guy's name she asked about?
It was Demarcado.
Demarcado, yeah. So they're going to split the backfield in James Conner's stead. So
James Conner is dead. I don't think James Conner is dead. He's just going on IR. James Conner's not dead. That's Sean Connery.
I'll be honest with you. Arizona's not been great, but they've played better than I would have given them credit for. I mean, beat the Cowboys, competitive against the Bengals. I mean, they've not been bad. So
well, I wanted to look this up, and so just as you were talking there, you brought up Devon Achane's college production and the amount of carries that he was getting there. In the NFL, he got 18 at week 3 against Denver. He got 8 week 4 against Buffalo, and he only got 11 last week. So they're staying in that range.
Yeah, that 18 kind of blipped, and I wonder. The other thing you got to add in there, and I don't have it in front of me, is targets and catches. You got to.
I mean, you add those in there. He's Denver. He got 4 targets, and then 4 catches. Buffalo 5 targets, 3 catches. Last week 1 target, 1 catch.
So he's getting roughly 14 or 15 touches each game.
Right, averaging.
And that's about all I think he can ever do. I mean, I've got a buddy that just swears by him. He's the best player since Barry Sanders or whatever. And I'm like, well, buddy, love you, man, but I'm afraid he's not going to be the next Barry Sanders. And that's okay. He's going to be an awesome NFL player.
Let's get over to their next guy. You got James Conner. Who is your next guy that is going to be missing a week or 2 or 4?
You have to refresh me. I know there was one other guy that was on the short-term IR, I think.
Unfortunately, there's one for sure. And his quarterback out of Indianapolis.
Yes.
That,
how can I forget?
Hurts my feelings. I'm sitting right here, Brian. Thank you so much.
I'm so and I only forget him, I guess, because, well, I can't make fun of Vanderbilt beating Florida anymore now because y'all whipped us this past weekend. But I can still make fun of last year. And Anthony Richardson is their other guy. So anybody in need of a quarterback, though, I think Gardner Minshew can do just fine for you.
Yeah, and I will hit on Gardner Minshew a little while because one of my players that I am looking a little bit higher on than most this week is actually a wide receiver on that team. And it's not because of Gardner Minshew that he's there or that I'm thinking he's going to be higher because he did it with Anthony Richardson. But there is a player that we're going to talk about here in a little while from that team. All right, Elijah Mitchell, after missing weeks 4 and 5, he missed practice on Wednesday. Juwan Johnson with a calf injury missed week 5, and he did not practice again on Wednesday. Mike Evans hamstring. What do you know about Mike Evans hamstring? I know he didn't practice on Wednesday or Thursday, but I don't think he practices a ton anyway.
I have some concern, though, coming out of a bye week. We'll see. With veterans like that, they don't necessarily practice a lot, but definitely monitor tomorrow's practice report. And I have some concern for him. I mean, he's one of those guys that still likes to run the deep route, and the hamstrings don't run too well on the deep route. So,
well, I mean, he does have a quarterback now that can throw the deep route.
He does.
We didn't know he could, but he did. He can do it. He can do it.
Baker's been pretty okay, to be honest.
Yes, he has. He's been better than okay, in my opinion. There and a couple other people's opinions too. I mean, Baker Mayfield has not been too shabby. What is he sitting at? He's QB 20 on the year. But he's not. Hey, listen, he's not Russell Wilson.
Hey, but he's had a bye week already. Remember that.
That's true.
All I can say is Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner. Number 1 overall draft pick right there. Zay Jones, after leaving week 5 early, did not practice Wednesday and Thursday. Are you worried at all there? Yes or no?
I can see Zay missing this week. Yeah, he's been he came back in week 5 after missing week 4. So, yeah, I could see a lingering injury there that he doesn't play.
We'll talk about this team in a little while, but Roschon Johnson and Khalil Herbert both did not practice. I heard that there is a good possibility that Khalil Herbert could be out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm hearing the same thing. They had said with Roschon that having the long week, they played last Thursday night, that he would probably make it back from concussion, but I'm starting to get a little bit less positive about it, missing practice.
Yep, I knew it was coming. Jamie is still hanging out, riding that Roschon wave. or what's left of the Roshan wave. But Jamie is the conductor of that train there. Tank Dell, concussion, left early week 5. Did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. Little concerning.
Yeah, I mean,
But he caught the ball. Damn it!
he's a damn good player. I mean,
Did
really.
did you see that where when the training staff was coming out and to check on him, he was like, "I caught it. I caught it."
I missed that.
Well, and he caught it by landing on his head, and that's what caused the concussion. So, yeah, Tank Dell. I don't think he's going to play this week. However, Brown, is it Noah Brown?
Yeah.
Should be back. So that will be. I'm not saying that Noah Brown's Tank Dell, but Noah Brown was the starter, and when Noah Brown went down, that's when Tank Dell got the bump, and then of course started playing well. Jahmyr Gibbs, after missing week 5, he did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. Sam Laporta, after practicing Wednesday, was placed on the injury report, did not practice on Thursday.
That's a bigger to me. That's the biggest news from today is him hitting the injury report after practicing yesterday. I've written injury articles for the last couple of years on a different site, and when you see a midweek designation like that, a lot of times it winds up being an out on Sunday. So we'll see.
That's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings.
Yep. Oh, I mean, think he's tight end 4 on the year. Yeah, it would hurt a lot of people's feelings. I've got it in a couple of spots. So
no, he's not tight end 4. He's tight end 1.
He's pretty high.
Yeah, he's tight end 1.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's I want to say Kelsey's like tight end 5 right now. And of course that was he missed a week or so, but that is what it is. Yeah, Sam Laporta, rookie Sam Laporta that plays for Detroit Lions with the best quarterback in all of football, Jared Goff, is tight end 1. Next Brown. The next Detroit Lion we need to talk about is Amon-Ra St. Brown. He returned to a limited practice after missing week 5. He put a full practice in on Thursday and looks like he's going to play. Excited?
Oh, yeah. How can you not be? He's definitely a top 10 wide receiver, maybe top 5. So, yeah, it's big news there.
Yeah, I think that's great news for Detroit. Unfortunately, I think that's bad news for my Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, sure.
We have to play them this week. I'm never. I have Sam Laporta in plenty of my teams. Maybe not as many as I want him in. But as an NFL fan, I don't want to. I want to see Sam rest a week. He needs a week rest.
He after putting up 2 touchdowns last week, he deserves one.
So. Yeah, he deserves a paid day off.
Yep, that's it.
Deshaun Watson, shoulder injury after missing week 4. Then he got the team's bye. Then he did not practice Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not feeling good about Deshaun playing. They're talking about PJ Walker. All I can say is roll out 49ers defense this week.
Yeah.
As if you wouldn't already, there's more reason to. So.
Jamie saying Steve Smith Jr. just destroyed Jerry Jones on NFL Network, saying if any NFL team tries to trade for him, he'll tell them not to. Which one? Who was? Oh, for Jerry. For Jerry Judy. Yeah, they just need to. They Jerry Judy just needs to stay in Denver. That's all that needs to happen there. Miles Sanders did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. Daniel Jones, after being knocked out in week 5, did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. That's a quarterback that a lot of people were a little bit higher on going into this year. Has not performed. Getting Darren Waller, of course. Saquon Barkley being out, should be coming back hopefully this week. But Daniel Jones, I want to say, is the back end quarterback too. right now just hasn't looked good. That nobody in that Giants offense has really looked good. Are we concerned after being knocked out last week that he's still not putting in practice for Daniel Jones? Are you looking to go and get, I don't know, Russell Wilson?
Yeah, I mean, if Russell Wilson's available on waivers, like we were talking about, he's available in 46% of leagues. Yeah, I would go ahead and grab him and play him. I mean, he's already better than Daniel Jones right for this year anyway. So.
Yeah, about 20 places ahead of Daniel Jones.
So, yeah, why not?
T. Higgins, broken ribs after missing week 5. He returned to a limited practice yesterday and today. Says it's promising when he was asked about his week 6 availability. Let me ask you this, Brian. You're sitting there at whatever, 2-3, 3-2. You have an option to play T. Higgins, Josh Reynolds. Who are you starting?
That's tough. But I'm a T. Higgins homer, so I'm personally going T. Higgins. But like I said, I mean, behind Deontay Johnson, he's my probably my second favorite player. So
yeah, my concern with T. Higgins is the broken ribs. He takes one big hit, right?
yep.
Coming across the middle, going deep, whatever. If they have any intention of trading him before the trade deadline, they can't have him get hurt. Cannot have him get hurt.
The other thing about it is they got to buy next week in week 7, so they could conceivably limit or hold him out altogether. So
yeah, and so that's one that I would be. I mean, if he starts, you almost have to play him, though, right?
yeah, I think you do. And the worst thing about Reynolds, I mean, if Laporta sits, then all of a sudden it even becomes that much more interesting. Or, like we said, Amon-Ra seems like he's going to play, but if something happens between Thursday night and Sunday where he doesn't play, well, there you go. And then Jameson Williams is another name that didn't play much last week that might play more this week. So it's a lot of state of flux there in Detroit in a positive way, not a negative.
Yeah. Saquon Barkley, high ankle sprain, limited in practice on Wednesday and Thursday after missing the last 3 games. There was a chance that he could have played on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Do you feel like he's going to play this week?
I think so. It may also depend on if Daniel Jones doesn't play and Waller doesn't play or whatever. You know, both those guys are on the injury report too. They may just have a complete sellout. Nobody plays. So
yeah, and that's a Sunday night game at Buffalo. So that will be interesting. I think everybody in not even just fantasy, but everybody in the football world is hoping that all 3 of them play because I think that's a nice little game. Speaking of that game, Dalton Kincaid into concussion protocol, put in a limited practice Wednesday and Thursday. Do you think he clears protocol before? I guess he would have to clear it before noon on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I think he'll play, but is he worth even playing on your team?
I mean, you're in bye weeks, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got him on a roster, and I'm thinking about dropping him. So
fair. All right, Brian, that's the updates for all of the injuries throughout the league. However, this is Thursday night. We do have a few that we need to talk about. We've talked about one of them already with Greg Dulcich, but we do have a few that we need to talk about that pertain to this game between the Detroit. I'm sorry, I got all this Detroit on my head right now. Between the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce. What do you got on Travis Kelce?
Had an ankle injury last week, in and out of the game, but he's going to play.
I think he needs to have more ankle injuries because as soon as he came back in, I want to say he went 6 for 6 and a tutty.
The funny thing was I was playing against him in my Liga record, and I thought, well, okay, well, Kelsey's out, so we don't have to worry about him. And then all of a sudden I look back and he's going off. I was like, yeah, great.
Yes.
But I still won. So that's all that matters.
One that I brought up earlier with Javonte Williams, quad after missing week 5. He's been removed from the injury report, and he will play. What does that do to McLaughlin, Samaje P. Ryan, who are both expected to still have a role?
Yeah, they'll both have a role. I think P. Ryan's role is going to be very minimal. He may enjoy just sitting on the bench and watching everybody else play, but I think McLaughlin deserves the opportunity to get 8 or 10 touches, and Javonte will probably get a little bit more.
All right. Last two real quick. Greg Dulcich, which we've hit on, his designated return. Looks like he will. Edge rusher Frank Clark. He will not play tonight. So keep that in mind for your IDP players. Real quick, I want to get to a couple of these comments. Jamie wants to know, are you starting Chuba Hubbard or Josh Reynolds? The reason I want to talk about this is because, again, we do have to we do have to talk about Chuba Hubbard. He's better than people thought he was, but he's not as good as Miles Sanders. But if Miles Sanders is ruled out, what are you doing? Are you playing Hubbard or are you playing Reynolds?
If he's ruled out, you got to go Hubbard. If he's the only show in town, you're going Hubbard.
Okay, let me ask you this. Miles Sanders is ruled out. Sam Laporta is ruled out. Who are you playing?
I'm still going Chuba.
Okay. Very, very fair. Kyle says if Miles Sanders ruled out, he would play Hubbard as well. Probably Reynolds. Sanders is active. And you agree with that, right? If Sanders is active, then you're playing Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jamie, I didn't read this comment before. Women weaken the legs. It's Taylor Swift's fault. He needs to let her do work. Oh, Jamie. Let's see. What do you have here? Chris says, would you trade Javonte and Elijah Moore for Jerome Ford and Khalif Raymond in a full PPR?
Repeat it, please.
Okay, let's do this. What side of this trade would you want? Would you want Javonte Williams and Elijah Moore or Jerome Ford and Khalif Raymond?
Oh, my. I think I'm taking the Javonte side. I'm assuming it's Dynasty since we're a Dynasty show.
I'm going to assume it's Dynasty as well. And if it is a Dynasty, I'm taking the Javonte side as well. If it's redraft, I'm probably going to take the Jerome Ford side. And that's only because it's redraft. And it's just because of the injury to Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
That's it. Nick Chubb will be back. Jamie's Panthers are the highest targeted running backs this season. That's why we told you to go with Chubb. It is redraft. So, okay. Chris says it is redraft. So, knowing that it's redraft, are you taking Jerome Ford and Khalif Raymond? Or are you taking Javonte and Elijah Moore?
I could. I think I'm still okay with the Javonte side because Elijah Moore is certainly better than Khalif Raymond, right?
Is he? Aren't they the same people? Wearing different jerseys?
Well, if they are, then you go. If you think they're the same, then I'd go the Jerome Ford side.
I mean, he may be a better player. We just don't see it because he's stuck up there in the Great White North of Cleveland without a Nick Chubb and with half of a Deshaun Watson because he left the other half down in the sunshine of Houston. I don't know.
I guess to me, Williams and Ford are pretty similar. So, I mean, really, it depends on the viewer who he thinks is a better player between Raymond and Elijah Moore and who he thinks has more opportunity moving forward. Because I don't see much difference between Javonte and Ford, really.
Well, here's the difference that I see between the two. And this is how I see how it plays out. Javonte Williams has more competition in his backfield. And, you'll see Jerome Ford doesn't have that competition in Cleveland right now, at least that we've seen.
Yeah.
So that would be why I would go that route in a redraft scenario.
But you don't see Kareem Hunt getting any involvement at all?
Who?
There you go.
Yeah, no. The answer is no. Let's see. Is there a better wide receiver on waivers where you can drop Raymond for? Jamie is asking Chris. Let's get over here. And Drew, what is happening? What's up? Hey, what's up? The wind out here. Harrison Buckner is his kicker. Are you starting Harrison Buckner tonight in Denver? I'm sorry, it's in Kansas City.
I don't know why you wouldn't. He's a top 5 kicker. So
Drew, I don't mean to be rude when I say this, but this is going for 2 network for a reason. Would you rather trade Moss and Javante for Ford? 2 for 1. Again, Chris, this is a redraft. Moss and Javante for Ford. It's interesting. I probably wouldn't. I probably would want to hang on to the 2 running backs because of the way the running backs are going down.
Oh, Zach Moss and Javante for Jerome Ford?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I am with you. All right, Brian, let's talk some more real quick. Stock up, stock down for week 6. I'll start with my stock up, and it is Josh Downs. As I said earlier, this is the player that I was referring to. Yes, he's going to be having Gardner Minshew as his quarterback, but he also did a good bit of his damage with Anthony Richardson. The last 2 games, yards per catch have been over 15, averaging over 15 yards per catch. And in those games, 8 of 9, 131 yards. Last week, he led the Colts in both receptions and yards. With what he's done over the last 3 games, which is 16 of 21, 188, I see a bigger role coming for Downs in this offense. Yes, I know JT's back. Yes, I know Gardner Minshew's there. So you're probably going to get a little bit more down the field, maybe a little Alex Pierce here and there. I still think Downs is coming into his own. It's, 5 weeks into the season. He's starting to get his grip on the offense. Understood, different quarterback, but it is time for Josh Downs to be stock up for me.
I wrote about him in our waiver wire article for the week, so I'm right there with you.
All right, who's your stock up for this week?
Well, I kind of went low-hanging fruit here, but I went with DJ Moore and Fields. So they've been over the last 2 weeks. Justin Fields has over 600 yards combined passing for 8 touchdowns, 4 of which went to DJ Moore. So it's kind of hard to not make them your stock up. So,
yeah, 16 of 19, 361 for DJ Moore. Oof. The wide receiver too, right? I've been saying it for years. He's just a wide receiver too. He made me eat my words last week. Unfortunately for me, I have him in like 3 leagues. I played him in 2, and of course won those 2 matchups. But the one league that I didn't play him in, everybody let me know. Everybody let me know. Who's your stock down this week?
Going to be one King Henry, Derrick Henry. He had one good game in week 4 where he had 22 carries for, I believe, 122, 123 yards and a touchdown. But in weeks 3 and 5 combined, he had, I believe the numbers was 24 carries for 63 yards and 0 touchdowns. And the other thing that's a little bit concerning is Tajay Spears has been getting over 50% of the snaps for 3 straight weeks. And there's actually even trade rumors about Henry now. So depending upon where he got traded to would either really improve his lot or seal his fate. So
yeah. Does that mean that you're going to be up on Tajay Spears this week, or are you just out on the Tennessee offense as a whole with the Derrick Henry issues?
I'm not impressed with Tennessee offense in general, but Spears can be a flex play for you. I picked him up in a league. It's an 18-teamer, and basically it's best ball 18-teamer. And I've got him played him this past week, and he did fine. So yeah, I'm fine with him as a. I don't think you can start him yet as an RB2, but you can definitely put him in a flex.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and Drew, to your question earlier, I'm right here with Jamie. The wind is, at least if it's what the gust are saying, it doesn't move the needle for me either. If you're gonna play a kicker, Buckner is probably the better one to play with any sort of wind. So Yeah, plug him in, let him go do his thing. All right, my stock down this week, and this is going to hurt feelings, and it hurts my feelings because I have a few too many shares of him. I was higher on him than most, and it's Jahan Dotson. It really hurts my feelings to do this, but it's come time to call it what it is. For the season, 17 to 30, 140 yards, 1 touchdown. It's ugly. It's ugly when with what you saw him produce last year as a rookie, and with the upcoming schedule, I don't see it getting any better, except for maybe there's that 1 week where they play the Giants. I don't know. But when you look at the other side and you have Scary Terry over there who's capitalizing on everything, and Dotson's not, it's almost, for some reason, we're putting Dotson higher than London. And, we saw what London did last week, but it took basically the middle of the third quarter before they figured out he was on their team. But Dotson is just not doing what he did last year, and it's starting to hurt my feelings, and I don't like it.
Yeah, when you average less than 30 yards a game, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. All right, Brian, let's get into this. Chrome Dome parlay of the night. So I see on the sheet you have 2 different parlays on here. You want to explain one of them, and I'll explain, because I also have 2. And then I'll let you do your first one. I'll do one, and then you can do a second one.
I guess I got a 5 item parlay is all mine wound up being.
Oh, okay. You had the space in there, and that's why I thought it was 2 different ones.
No, it's just one.
Okay.
So if you want me to go first,
Nope.
all
right, I'll do one, and then I'll let you do your 5 layer.
Okay.
So my first one, I went over to DraftKings, and then the second one, I went to Underdog. So I've got one for DraftKings, one for Underdog. So I'll start you off with the DraftKings one. We got about probably 20 minutes or so before you have to place these and actually secure your winnings for the night. And I took Isaiah Pacheco over 77.5 rushing, Jerry Jeudy over 52.5 receiving, and Marvin Mims, I went over on 20.5 receiving. Now, I know Marvin Mims has not been in, all over the place. He's not been on the field as much. He did have that one breakout game against Washington where he went for 113, I think it was. He's not getting the opportunities. He's not on the field as often. Marvin Mims is one that can catch a 4-yard pass and break it for 30. So that's why I put Marvin Mims on there. I do believe with Russell Wilson, this is going to be a passing game for the Denver Broncos. That's why I have 2 of those on there. And we saw Pacheco. He can turn what should be a 2-yard run into a 50-yarder real quick.
Yep, I totally agree that I didn't have access to all the numbers. I tried to find what I could on DraftKings. I'm going to change one of mine up, but you may go ahead and give you mine now.
Go right ahead.
All right. So first of all, I predict the final score to be 34-17 Chiefs. The over/under is 47, so obviously I'm going over this week. I feel like second of all, I've got Russell Wilson. He's actually they've on the average passing yards per game, they're 13th in the NFL. Numbers 217, which seems low to me. So I'm going to go the over on Russell Wilson's yardage. Unfortunately, I'm going to disagree with Gator on this one. I'm going to go Pacheco under, was it 77.5?
Well, that's what I was looking at it. You had it at 76.5, so you would definitely be going under on the 77.5.
Yeah, so I'm going to go under there. Where I'm going to change mine is I did not have the Jerry Jeudy number, so I'm going to go over there as well. And last but not least, the Javonte Williams rushing total was, I believe, 36.5. That seems low to me. I think as when he was fully pulled off the injury report, he'll be pretty active. So I'm going to go over 36.5 rushing yards.
So you have on the sheet, you have Cortland Sutton under 45.5. Do you still believe that to be true as well?
Probably so, but I'm going to throw it out.
Take that one completely out. So don't even throw that in there. Throw in the Judy over and go that route. All
Yeah.
right. So the last one I have is going to be on the underdog. And speaking of underdog, one of our show's sponsors, you can get a 100% deposit match up to $100 using the promo code GF2. You can go over there and do that. Or if you're watching on your TV or on your computer, you can scan this beautiful QR code right here and it will take you right over there. And all you got to do is put in your information, deposit $100 and you will get $100 matched. And you can do that tonight. You can do it for all of your football, any of the sports that they have over there, golf, NASCAR, whatever they've got. I am on there a good little bit. And so I have started actually watching some of these and seeing what Underdog is changing a lot of the lines or adding different pieces. And so they have Jerry Judy, the higher or lower than 17.5 yards after contact.
Wow.
And with the 52.5 over that I'm taking on DraftKings, I'm like, 17.5 yards after contact seems pretty easy. So give me the 17.5 higher yards after contact. Jared McKinnon, higher than 27.5 rushing and receiving combined. And then, of course, what is a Kansas City parlay without a little Kelsey and Taylor Swift? I mean, Kelsey love. Got to have a little Kelsey parlay or piece of the parlay. And I went higher than 4 first downs on Kelsey there. So overall, it's Judy higher than 17.5 yards after contact. McKinnon higher than 27.5 rushing and receiving combined. And Kelsey higher than 4 first downs. Any disagreements on that one, Brian?
No, all that sounds good. My big question of the night, though, is Taylor Swift in concert tonight? And if not, is she going to be at the Chiefs game?
I have no clue about either of those, but I will tell you this. Taylor Swift was not at the Chiefs game last week, and Travis Kelce got hurt. If she is not there tonight and Travis gets hurt again, I am blaming 100% on all of the Swifties.
And I'm going to guess you saw the Philadelphia Eagles player, and I don't remember who it was, suggested Taylor not come to the Week 9 game against the Chiefs against the Chiefs and Eagles because when she is there, apparently they're 2-0. So
I did not see that. I will have to go back and check that out. That is going to be one I do need to look at. All right, Brian, what else is going on? Next week we have Jacksonville at New Orleans, which should be kind of an interesting game. I hope, maybe. I don't know what we truly expect tonight. You gave your score prediction. What was that again for tonight?
34-17 Chiefs.
I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think it's going to be like 31-24, 31-27. 31-27. I'm going to land on 31-27. Chiefs take it tonight. Ooh. Underdog needs to add women's beach volleyball because who doesn't like watching that sport? Jamie. Jamie's parlay for the night. Mims over 17.5 receiving. Pacheco 50+ rushing. Pacheco anytime TD. Wow. Chiefs -6.5. Chiefs first to score. Total under is 62.5. And a total over of 37.5. So that's a nice little window right there, Jamie. I like that. And of course, Mr. Research himself, according to his quick research, Kyle says Taylor Swift next concert is November 9th. Well, where the hell was she last week, Kyle? Jesus, we got to get her in the stadium. How do these listen? I don't know what NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, ESPN. I don't know what they have to pay her to get her into the stadium so that they can put her on TV, but Lord have mercy. That's all they want to talk about. So let's put her on the TV then.
Maybe if we think about it, this relationship they've got is not quite as serious as Travis Kelce wants it to be.
Oh, don't be a Debbie Downer, Brian. Don't be a Debbie Downer.
You've called
all right.
You've heard of marrying up before or dating up. Travis.
Taylor didn't want to go to Minnesota. I can't blame her. I don't blame her either. Oh my! Although I hear that stadium is damn nice. I do want to get up there, but I'm gonna go in the summertime when they play like softball or something up there. I'm not going in the winter. I'm not doing that. It's already cold here. I'm not doing that. All right, Brian, tell the good people where they can find you so that we can get our lineup set and they can get their set as well before we got about another 10 or 15 minutes before the game. So tell the people where they can find you. What do you got going on?
Well, you can always find me at VandyGrad92 on X. And then along with that, I'm working with, for frequency's sake, I've got a Friday night DFS show that's called DFS Deep Dive. And then on Sundays, I do our main show from 10 to 11:30 in the morning. So I always find all my content right there.
Yeah, and I love this. Coming from a Green Bay fan here, Kyle says, basically he's not going to go to Minnesota because there's too many Vikings fans and that damn horn, that stupid horn.
Skull, baby.
At least we won't have to hear it in the playoffs this year.
Hey, at least the Packers have more wins than the Vikings, so there you go.
Ooh, yeah, the 1-4. Is it 1-4? I guess they're 1-4, or are they 1-4? I got it right. I can do math. 1-4 Vikings, not going to the playoffs this year. Ugh, that's gonna hurt feelings. It's only gonna hurt feelings because, well, it's Justin Jefferson not in the playoffs. I think
they say that Justin Jefferson is just going to go enjoy some etouffee. Is all I know.
Yeah. Well, you can find me right here on Thursday nights. You can find me at FantasyJ77 over there on Twitter. Make sure you go visit thegoingfor2.com. You can see all of the rankings, all of the waiver wire shows, any of the other shows that we got going on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even on Monday. We have a pregame with yours truly in the chat there, Mr. Kyle Sinra, running the Monday night. We have Jamie in the chat going on Tuesday night. It's 7 nights a week. There's a show on the Going for Two network. Make sure you hit that like, thumbs up for all of us. Hit that subscribe button. That makes Jeff very happy. And I guess we are going to be out of here, man. Listen, I'm ready. Are you ready for some football?
I am. Go Chiefs. No, I just hope it's a good game. That's all I hope for.
Yeah, I do want to see a good game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 65-3, but it's not going to surprise me that it's 31-29 either. I think both of these teams are, up in the air right now, especially with the wide receiver core of the Chiefs. It's but it's Thursday night.
You never can tell in a divisional game either. So
no, it's Thursday night. It's week 6 kickoff. Let's go. Go get your lineup set. Do not forget, take your Thursday night players out of the flex position. Put them into their starting positions. Give you some relief for Sunday and any news that comes out between now and then. For Brian, for me, we're out. Have a great night.
Yeah.